Hello viewers of The Pioneer, how are you doing? I hope you're healthy and well. As The Pioneer, we are here again with a very interesting report. As we have stated in many of our reports, war is shaped by resistance and belief. If you don't know why you're fighting and what are you fighting for, there is no power to overcome difficulties. In an army, even one soldier facing this situation can affect the fate of the entire army. Sometimes soldiers who resist with the faith and abundance by their own army, their commanders just say, go and do it. But even their basic needs, equipments, and human needs are not met. That is when the soldiers' faith and resistance weaken. The patience of the Russian soldiers is exhausted. They have lost their faith. And the danger bells for the Russian army are ringing louder. So what are the latest developments on this subject? Let's take a look together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to carry the Russia-Ukraine war to your screens. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also invite you to follow our Anka Daily News channel. Let's start if you are ready, the Pioneer reports. Russian soldiers face great difficulties on the front line. Supplies vital for the Russian army cannot reach the front line. Due to the attacks of the Ukrainian armed forces on the Russian supply lines, the connection between the Russian mainland and the front line has almost been severed. The Russian army, which has been trying to break through the Ukrainian defenses for weeks, sees the situation deteriorating day by day. If this continues, Russian soldiers may even starve to death. The most intense attacks of the Russian army continue on the Donetsk front line. Despite all its effort, the Russian army cannot make progress. In recent days, remarkable images of the plight of the Russian army have emerged. It is estimated that these images were taken around Avdiivka, where the Russian army carried out meat attacks. In these images, it is seen that the Russian soldiers surrendered. However, even during the surrender process of the Russian soldier, it is seen that the Ukrainian army planned everything in detail. The Ukrainian armed forces are implementing an incredible strategy to drive the Russian soldiers on the front line away from the Russian positions. One of the major problems facing Russian soldiers is hunger, and the food is not reaching to the soldiers. Russian soldiers are looking for food in forests and fields. Summer conditions might have been an advantage for the Russian soldiers, but due to the winter conditions on the front line, there is no food for the Russian soldiers to find in the forests and fields. Aware of this, the Ukrainian army is implementing the strategy that we will discuss later. Ukrainian reconnaissance forces conducting forward reconnaissance operations against the Russian lines are allegedly leaving food at certain points in the terrain. This food is especially left around abandoned and wrecked houses. In this way, it is aimed at the Russian soldiers looking for food fall into the traps of the Ukrainian army. Recently, a Russian soldier also fell into one of these traps. The Russian soldier left the position with his friends and were looking for food. They had lost themselves from the hunger. They thought every stone was food and tried to eat it. When they realized that it was a stone, they were experiencing great sadness. Meanwhile, the Russian soldier, our main subject, found a piece of bread and ate it immediately. It did not occur to him to inform his friends. When he saw another piece of bread, he started to go towards a house where the Ukrainian soldiers had set up a trap. Ukrainian soldiers had set a trap to catch the Russian soldier. The Russian soldier was frightened when he saw the Ukrainian soldiers, but he had no chance to escape, and it was best to surrender. Ukrainian soldiers called out to the Russian soldier, "Surrender. Put down your equipment immediately. Where we will take you, you will eat the best food. Don't be afraid. You're safe." The Russian soldier calmed down in the face of these words of the Ukrainian soldiers. The Russian soldier who left his equipment was handcuffed and interrogated by the Ukrainian soldiers. The Russian soldier stated that he surrendered due to the hunger and harsh conditions. The statements of the soldier in question on the subject are as follows. "They haven't given us proper food for weeks. Many of my friends got sick and due to the unhealthy conditions. When we ask for food, they say, go find it. Every need of the commanders who gave us this order is met. They sleep in warm beds and rooms and they give us summer tents." If we refuse to fight, they threaten us by using our families. We are very tired. I have come here and I will rest a little. I apologize to you for what I've been through. While the situation in the Russian army is getting more difficult day by day, there are reports that Russian soldiers are preparing to surrender at many points. Especially the difficult conditions accelerate the surrender processes of the Russian soldiers. In the light of the information obtained at the moment, we know that there are Russian soldiers who surrendered while looking for bread. It is reported that Russian soldiers have surrendered at many points but have not yet been reported. Experts also draw attention to this issue. Developments regarding some surrendered Russian soldiers are not shared with the public for their safety. And however, it is claimed by the experts that more Russian soldiers surrendered to the Ukraine is known. After the Russian soldier known to have surrendered to the Ukrainian army on the Luhansk front line, the Russian soldier was caught by a drone and realized that all his friends in the positions were dead. When the Russian soldier saw the drone, he first got scared. Immediately dropping his equipment, the Russian soldier lay down on the ground and put his hands on his head to prevent the drone from shooting him. With the announcement made by the drone of the Ukrainian army, he gave his credentials. He was told to follow the drone. After traveling for a while, the Russian soldier reached the Ukrainian headquarters and was arrested by the Ukrainian soldiers. The arrested Russian soldier was directed to the prison camp. During the interrogation, the surrendered Russian soldier shared his experiences and his decisions to surrender. The surrendered Russian soldier used the following expressions while describing his experiences. I lost all my friends in the position. The fire was very intense. I asked for help on the radio. Each time they told me to be patient a little bit more. Hours passed, no one come to pick me up. I contacted the headquarters every hour, but the answer was always the same. After a while, they stopped answering. I wanted to leave. I surrendered when I saw your drone. I wish I had surrendered to you earlier. Russian soldiers are abandoned to their fate. Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, is not interested in this issue at the moment. The Russian leader is enraging the Russian people and the Russian army day by day. Elections will be held in Russia in the coming days, and we will see if these elections will affect the political character of Putin, president of the Russian Federation. Now tell me, what do you think? How do you evaluate the problems in the Russian army? And do you think the Ukrainian army will succeed in capturing more Russian soldiers? Do you think that the problems of the Russian army will be solved? Will Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, be able to solve the problems of the Russian army? Can Russian soldiers reconsider mutiny under these conditions? Let me know in the comments. I read and care about all the comments.